Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend so far. Trying to figure out the last video I did. It seemed like the brightness was a little off. I've been trying to figure out, if it's. I kind of turned I turned this one light off here, so I've got my two other ring lights. I got one there and one there to try to see if they. See if it's if the brightness is still an issue. I mean, I guess it's not horrible. I mean, if I move it, if I get close enough, it's not too bad. I kind of wonder, if I have to, either raise the lights up, which I might actually give that a shot. Let me try that. Okay, that might help a little bit. I did kind of dim this one my one ring light here, so it might look a little bit better. It is a very bright sunny day outside right now, and at least as I'm recording this, so I mean that might be with what some of the light is up here. But yeah, the last video looked a little interesting, and I guess I might try and do a video later tonight and see if still have the same type of issue. But I wanted to talk a little bit about something that kind of has to do with me and my fandom. But before I get into that, if you are new to the channel and you love hockey, or if you're new to hockey in general, and you love it like I do, it would be greatly, and you somehow found the channel, it would be greatly appreciated and very, very awesome if you would hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and you can tap the little bell too if you want to be notified anytime future videos are uploaded. And it would be awesome if you guys did that. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Now, a little bit about me. I came to love hockey as a kid. I've loved hockey since I was a little kid. And I remember being, God, what was I? I mean, I still remember watching the tape delay of the Miracle on Ice. Now, mind you, I wasn't even 3 years old yet. But I remember that. And I think that was one of my first real memories of, watching a hockey game. And it's something I fell in love with. My brother played it as a kid, which then, led me to want to play it. Because, he played at a very young age. So, that kind of started me on the hockey journey, so to speak. And I remember another thing I remember being, what was I, 6 years old? I think I was like 6 or I was still a young kid, and I remember my brother goes and he takes a penalty. He takes a penalty in the game that he's playing. I'm sitting there next to my mom. I'm like 6 years old. They go and they call him for a penalty. I then go and yell, "Ref, you suck!" My mom looked at me like, what the hell did you just say? And I'm like, they just called him for a penalty. The referee sucks. And he heard that. He remembers that too. Like, yeah, 6 years old. It's like, yeah, my brother agrees with me. Yeah, chanting, even at a young age, I'm chanting, "Ref, you suck," when they call a penalty on my brother. So that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of real cool memories to think about. And then, I grew up. I played a couple years in park board. I wasn't that good, unfortunately. I wasn't that good. I played squirts and I played peewees. I wasn't that good. I was always one of them. I was never the playmaker. I was kind of the one who always tried to pick up the garbage in front. Like, stand in front of the net, and if a rebound comes, kind of jam away at it and try to knock it in the net. That was me. That's what I tried to do. And, it worked a couple of times. Only a couple of times. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Obviously, not that good at the game, but love the game, love watching the game. The game as a whole is fantastic. I love the game, and I just throughout elementary school, I loved hockey, and growing up, the Edmonton Oilers were my favorite team as a kid growing up, because they had a guy who wore number 99, and I just marveled at what he could do. I would see him play games, and I would see what he could do, and I was just in awe. And, them winning the Stanley Cup in 1980 and 85, and 1984, 85, and then winning it again in 87, 87 and 88. And I think it was 1987, after the 87 final, the next year when I was in, I think I was going into 4th grade or something. And I was the only kid it had to have been after the 87 final, because they played Philadelphia. Or was it 85? I was either in 3rd grade or 4th grade, so that would have been either 85 going into 86 or 86 going into 87. I think it was either 3rd or 4th grade, but it was one of the times they played Philadelphia. And I remember as a kid they'd do, little spelling tests or spelling contests in school. And I remember, they would call us up as kids, and they would ask, and they'd, well, spell this, spell that. And one of them came up, and the teacher said, all right, spell Philadelphia. And all the kids, they're saying, F-I-L-A-D-E-F-I-A. They're misspelling it. They didn't quite get the fact that PH also gives the F sound. Philadelphia, even though it's a PH. But I came up and they said, all right, spell Philadelphia. And I go through and I spell Philadelphia. And I was the only kid in the class who could do it. And the teacher literally was like, how do you know how to spell? How did you know? You're the only one that got that right. How did you know that? How did you know how to spell that? And I looked right at the teacher and I said, the Philadelphia Flyers. And she was like, huh? And it's literally like she's like, wait, say that again? And I said, the Philadelphia Flyers. I said, they played the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup. They played the Edmonton Oilers for the Stanley Cup. And they had some wicked, like, bench clearing brawls and stuff like that. And it just, the Philadelphia Flyers, they were that good. Now that I do it was 87 because Ron Hextall was the goaltender. Because I remember in that series, one of the ones that caused a nice brawl was Ron Hextall basically doing a tomahawk chop with his goalie stick to the back of one of the Oiler players' legs, and that kind of caused an incident. But it was 87, so now I remember that. But it was so neat, and the kids were looking at me like, they couldn't figure it out. It was like I was the only hockey fan as a kid growing up in my class, because they couldn't figure it out. They're like, how is it like, and how is that possible? And I just said, it's the Philadelphia Flyers. They played the Edmonton Oilers for the Stanley Cup. So it was fun. It was definitely a good time to see the reaction on people on a lot of the kids' faces, like how the hell does he know that? And just me saying Philadelphia Flyers, and they just were flabbergasted. It was so cool. So I watch the finals I tried to watch the finals every year. And when it got to 1991, when the Minnesota North Stars went on their unbelievable run to the Stanley Cup final, and I mean, we were living in North Dakota at the time. I was born and raised Fargo, North Dakota. And, so I mean, we got, all the Minnesota stuff. And watching the North Stars was just unbelievable. It was so much fun. And a team that should not have made the play, the only reason they made the playoffs was because of the playoff format that they had at the time. Top 4 teams in each division make the playoffs, and they were 4th place out of 5 teams in the North Division. But they ended up beating the number 1 and number 2 overall teams in the league that year in the first 2 rounds in Chicago and St. Louis. And then they beat the defending champion Edmonton Oilers in the conference finals in 91. And then they ran into the Pittsburgh Penguins and Mario Lemieux. And yeah, I wasn't a fan of Mario Lemieux after that, during that year. I was not very, very happy with him. Because, I mean, he beat the North Stars for the Cup. And that was the year my family started taping the Stanley Cup final every year. Because we thought, I mean, at the time, with VCRs, we thought, how cool would it be if the North Stars were to win the Stanley Cup? We have it on tape. We thought that would be awesome. Well, they didn't win, but we still had it on tape. And then from that point on, we started taping the Stanley Cup final. And then when I went away to college, I then took over, continuing to tape the Stanley Cup final. Tape each game. And yes, VCRs were a thing back in the 90s. And, and even into the 2000s. And I taped the finals for a good chunk of time. Now with everything, you just DVR it, or, you just, you find it on demand, or you DVR it. But I mean, every year, watching the finals. And I remember too, when I was in high school, I would always go down and watch the varsity hockey practice. Our varsity hockey team. We'd go down, I would watch practice, and I loved it. I loved watching practice. It was a good time. And the whole idea too of, a few of the players couldn't figure out, why is somebody watching our practice? Because I was the only one there. I literally was the only one there watching practice. And a couple of our puppies came in. I was the only one watching the practice. And a couple of the players, they stopped me in the hallway as I'm dressed in my hockey stuff. I've got a jersey on, I've got a hat on. Hello, hockey fan. And they couldn't figure out why, they were like, how come you come down and you watch our practice after school every day? And I went and said, can you not see what I'm dressed in? I love hockey. I'm a hockey fan. I love hockey. I love the sport. Whether it's pro, college, high school, I don't care. If it's hockey, I love it. So that's why I go and watch practice because I want to see the drills you guys do. I want to see all that stuff. They were thinking I was a spy. They were starting to they literally were starting to think, you're not spying for North, are you? Because I went to Fargo South High School. And our arch rival was Fargo North, the north side of Fargo against the south. So it's, they thought, they're like, what are you trying to, give information? And I'm like, are you freaking, what are you kidding? Like, absolutely not. It's just, I was a fan. I loved watching it. I loved watching them practice. I thought it was real cool. And I remember 1994, my sophomore year in high school, they won their first ever state title, and it was awesome to watch. It was so fun. It was broadcast on TV, and it was a lot of fun. And watching them win their first ever state title was awesome. Now, of course, you put the schools in North Dakota, you put them up against anybody from here in Minnesota, and yeah, it's not even close. The Minnesota teams destroy them almost every time. But it was a good time. It was a lot of fun, and I loved watching practice. And like I said, I didn't care what kind of hockey it was. If it was hockey, I loved it. And and I remember too, we were in gym class. I think it was my senior year? It might have been it was my senior year in high school. And we were doing a gym class, and we played broomball. Now I had never played broomball. Excuse me. I had never played broomball before. So, okay, we're playing broomball. It's out on the hockey rink. So I bring my skates. Along. I'm sitting in the arena. I'm sitting there in the arena in the little area, where we tape up the, where we get ready, lace up the skates, all that stuff, like, when you do an open skate or something. And I'm sitting there, I'm lacing up my skates, and the teacher comes in, and the teacher's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I'm putting my skates on." And he looked at me and he's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, we're playing broomball, right?" He's like, "Yeah." "It's out there on the hockey rink, right?" I said, "Yeah." I was like, "So I'm putting my skates on." "We're playing out on the ice, so I'm putting my skates on." And he's like, we don't wear skates to play broomball." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Why not?" I couldn't figure it out necessarily why not, but you don't wear skates playing broomball. So we just go out there in our shoes. Well, I said to the teacher after this, see if you'd let me wear my skates, I'd have been all right. Playing broomball, I went, I slipped, I put my hand down on the ice to kind of break my fall. Broke my wrist. Broke my wrist. I still tried to finish too. We still had like 10 minutes left, and I'm right-handed, so I mean, it's my right wrist, and I'm right-handed. I'm out there with the broom in my hand, still trying to whack at the thing as I literally, I can't move my hand. I've got my hand like down here or something, but I mean I can't move it. It's just aching. It hurts like an MF. Let's just say that. But I'm still out there. You couldn't have pulled me off. You couldn't have pulled me off till the time was up. Time finally ended. I come off the ice and I'm just like, oh. I go and I take my glove off, and the teacher was like, you hurt because he saw me fall on it too, and saw me be like, oh. And he's like, well, let's see your hand. Go and I take my glove off. My wrist and my hand is like double the size. And he's like, oh, that's not good. And I looked at it and I said, see, if you would have let me wear my skates, I'd have been fine. Like, this wouldn't have happened if I'd had my skates on, because I kind of was pretty good at keeping my balance on skates. But he kind of had a laugh at it, but ended up going. Had to go call my mom. She had to come from work, grab me, take me in, get an x-ray, found out, yep, broke my wrist right across, right across there. And, it hurt for a bit, so they stick me in a splint, they wrap it up, all that from here all the way up, all the way up to like here. And, so I mean, you'd think you'd almost broke your arm, even though it was my wrist. And I go in the next day to the school, and teacher's like, "Oh, what's the prognosis?" He's like, "Yeah, broke my wrist." And he's like, "Oh," he's like, and it drove me nuts, because I then sat and watched them play all these sports, and I couldn't participate, and I was pissed, because I'm like, I want to be out there, I was like, but no, I got this cast on, and I can't do anything until I get it off. So yeah, 6 weeks passed. I could finally get it off, and my wrist, everything was good. After they took it off, they X-rayed it. Okay, yeah, it's healed, sweet. And then I was able to participate again. But I've loved I've loved hockey. I love almost anything on ice, really. Except for driving. Driving on ice, no good. I'm not crazy about that. That's what makes winter driving around here is a flipping nightmare sometimes. But hockey is just a sport I've loved for the longest time. I watch the high school tournament every year when they broadcast the Minnesota State boys high school hockey tournament. I watch that every year. I've even tuned into the girls tournament. The girls tournament, a lot of fun too. They don't have the hitting though. You can't throw body checks in the girls game, which I'm like, what? I for whatever reason though, they don't allow checking in girls hockey, but it's still fun to watch. It still is fun to watch, and these girls are really good players. But I then started, I started collecting. I started collecting all the jerseys back in like 90. I think 92 is when I first started collecting, and I remember it was when Tampa Bay and Ottawa came into the league, and I remember, I would always want a different jersey for either my birthday or Christmas. And I remember freshman year, we were playing, I think, what were we playing? We were playing like wiffle ball or something, and going for a pop fly, and we were in the hockey arena. The hockey arena, I mean, it wasn't hockey season, so they had the boards all taken down, and, there was no ice out there, so, I mean, they'd play like volleyball out there and all kinds of different stuff. We were playing wiffle ball, and me and this one guy, we kind of go for a pop fly, and we smack knees. Well, his kneecap kind of hit me in the side of my knee, hit it in the right spot, not real hard, blew my knee out completely. ACL, MCL, all that. Not a good time. Have to go through all that, trying to, get x-rays, everything, get it wrapped up. And this was before, they had, the MRIs that you could just go right into. No, we had to wait 3 days to actually go get an MRI done. But one cool thing though, at least after I got home from school, I'm on crutches. I got this big immobilizer that's on my leg that goes from like my ankle up to practically up to, halfway up my quad or whatever. And I come home, and this was 2 days after my birthday. So this was on a September 10th, because my birthday falls on September 8th. So I get home, well, there's a package waiting for me, and it was my Tampa Bay Lightning jersey, which, oddly enough, I still have. I still have that jersey. this was the jersey that came in a nice bag, and I got to I got to open. So I felt better. I actually felt a lot better. I mean, I can't walk. My leg is just shot, but this made me feel a lot better. Being able to see this jersey and open it up. And this basically was the jersey that started my collecting. Because, Tampa was the expansion team, and I loved the way it looked. The logo, I thought the logo was sweet. I loved the shoulder logo was nice. I mean, I remember seeing pictures and I thought, that's really cool. That is really cool. So then as I'm going through rehab, and all that, Christmas comes around, and I'm like, okay, what one would I want for Christmas? Well, I want the other expansion team. The other expansion team was the Ottawa Senators. Here's that one. So this one I got for Christmas in 1992. And yes, still have them both. It is really, really cool that I still have both of them. And yeah, I mean, when you think about it, I got these in 1992. This is 2023. And these jerseys are still in pretty darn good condition. There's no pulls. There's no, obviously, the white, it's not as bright of a white here in the logo as it was when it was brand new. But yeah, they still look fantastic. They still look really nice. And because I'm a little bigger now than I was when these were, because these were at the time a men's large. These were both larges. So, and you can kind of tell, the CCM is kind of worn off the back, numerous washings and all that. Same with back here, the CCM, because that's all they really did is they just kind of painted the CCM logo on the backs. So, after a while they wash off, and numerous washings and all that. And yeah, so I would walk, go around high school, and these were the first two that I started collecting with, and then it kind of went from there, up from there, and I kind of started increasing my collection from there. Ended up getting this one, which is a real nice, which is real nice. Of course, like I said, the white is not as bright on this one. I got this. What year did I get this? This is a large too, I believe. Yep, this is a men's large also. I got this, I think, the first year New Jersey went to this color, which was, I think, 93 or 94. That they went to this color when they went away from the green, and they just went to the red and black and went with this design. And of course, they won the Stanley Cup in 1995, and I had decided, how cool it would be to, especially coming into my senior class pictures at the time, which, mind you, this did not go into this is the photo. It didn't go into the yearbook. It's kind of one that I wanted to go into the yearbook, but it didn't. But this jersey, this picture. Look at that handsome kid. Look at that handsome kid. 1996, 1995, 96. Look at that head of hair. Compared to now. Yeah, I had a heck of a head of hair back in the day. But yeah, it was so cool too when I started doing videos on the channel, and I found these again, and just to be able to show off the jersey that I was wearing in the picture. Now needless to say, New Jersey did not get a chance to defend their championship in 96 because they missed the playoffs, but they won the cup in 95. And yeah, it's interesting when you look at the picture there. Hard to believe that picture. It's this jersey. So cool. Such a cool thing that I still have the jersey that I wore in my senior class picture from 1996. Really, really cool. And I just, my collecting kind of grew from there. And my whole thing was I wanted to get at least one jersey for every team. And it took me a while to do it. I mean, it probably took at least a good 10 years before I finally was able to get at least one jersey for every single team. And then it just kind of went from there. And, new jerseys had come out, teams would rebrand, and I'm like, well, I got to get that one. And it spawns into what I have here, what I have in the back behind this, what I have out in the other closet, what I have down here in totes. Yeah, it just kind of my collecting fever just went poof, just blew up. So, and I still obviously collect to this day, and I have this channel now that I really enjoy doing videos. And as the dogs go and bark, somebody must have walked in the door because the dogs are going crazy. But it's so much fun. Collecting is a lot of fun. Talking hockey is a lot of fun. Doing videos to put out to all you people on the internet is a lot of fun. And and even I started doing the channel, I would watch people unbox hockey jerseys, and I was like, I always got a kick out of it. It was fun. It was fun trying to guess what people would get. Where me, I'd get jerseys, I'd just unbox them, I wouldn't do any videos on them because I hadn't had a channel yet. And that's where I all of a sudden started thinking, I could start doing something like that. Do jersey unboxings and stuff like that, and that's kind of how the channel was born. And, it's a lot of fun, and I love doing jersey unboxings. During the summer, obviously, I can't do, money-wise, I don't make as much as I do during our fall and winter seasons, so I'm not really able to get jerseys during the summertime. But when it gets back closer to hockey season and our fall season starts and we get back to normal, we get all of our teams and all that, and it goes back up to where it was, I can start doing that again, because I've got a good bunch of good bunch of jerseys that I still want to get my hands on, and especially before the Adidas contract runs out, and of course there's a few new ones that I guess are going to come out that will be be interesting to see what they look like, what they are. I've already seen Philadelphia's new one. I definitely plan on wanting to get that one. And there's a few other teams. Minnesota's supposed to get a new alternate, which is interesting because I had heard what they were going to do is they're basically going to be like the reverse retro. Well, Calgary brought back their reverse retro 1.0, but they had to make a little, they had to add a little something, because it couldn't be the exact reverse retro. It's such a dumb thing. But they're like, well, you can't bring back the exact reverse retro. Number one, why? I could never understand why that was. But Calgary went and added that little, the little flames there at the bottom of the sleeves, and Blasty's back. Well, Minnesota, because of how well the Reverse Retro 2.0 sold, the talk was that Minnesota was going to make that an alternate jersey. Well, if they have to alter it a little bit, why not add a little black in there? Take that style and make it basically like the 1991, which I have that one. So if you make it just like 1991, there's where you can add the black. You can add the black at the bottom of the sleeve there. You can add the black on the sleeves, on the bottom. And I mean, you could even do, because you do have let me grab the Reverse Retro here. You could add black to this. Actually, I think what they could do is, you have the white outline here. You could either add black around this, or you take in between the green and the white here, and you put a black line around that, and you do that all the way around the logo, just like they did for 1991. And that's what the Reverse Retro could look like. You thought this sold good? You make this jersey your alternate, but you add black, and you have it look like this one? Yeah, you've got a guaranteed winner. But yeah, so that's kind of how my fandom started as a kid. As I'm almost 38 minutes into basically talking about how how I grew up as a fan, how I started out as a fan, and kind of how I started my collection off. So let me know what you think about let me know what you guys think. What made you guys start collecting jerseys? What got you guys into hockey? I would love to know, how did your guys' fandom start? Did it start as a kid? Did you just start skating and fell in love with the sport? I'd love to know. And what started your guys' collections? I'd love to know what you guys think. And did any of you guys have, when you guys graduated high school and you had your senior class pictures, did you guys take any in any hockey jerseys you guys were collecting? I'd love to know that in the comments. Let me know that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell if you want to be notified anytime future videos are uploaded. And yeah, this was kind of fun. Even though, it's over 38 minutes in here. But this was kind of fun, talking about my fandom and how it started and all that. I'd love to know how your guys' fandom started. How did you get introduced to the game? When did you start collecting? All that. Let me know all that in the comment section. I'd love to know. Again, hit like and subscribe. Hit the little bell too if you want to be notified anytime future videos are uploaded. Go ahead and do that if you have not done that yet already. And 39 minutes in, hopefully, if everybody got through to the end, I greatly appreciate it. And yeah. And if you guys did make it all the way, if you guys did make it all the way through, which, I would thank you guys immensely for that. If you guys did make it all the way through, in the comments section, if you made it all the way through to the end, tell me in the comments, say, hockey rules. If you can make it all the way through to the end of the video, say hockey rules in the comment section. Then I know some of you guys are definitely very, very dedicated and, you know, hearing about my fandom and how it started. So again, let me know what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe. Hit the little bell if you want to be notified anytime future videos are uploaded. And again, if you made it all the way through to the video, comment hockey rules, and I will see you guys later.